Hello, today is Monday, February 7th, and today we're going to kick off the week with a truthfulness spread. And this is really going to ask, are you honest with others and yourself? It's going to really play upon elements of truth as a central theme. And the questions are going to be posed to regard all areas of truthfulness in, your life. So let's go ahead and shuffle these. I am still working out my space for the next month or so. It's going to be a little in flux, but here we go. Let's just get started here. So I do the shuffle on the cut, but then I shuffle the whole time. I can't have a deck of cards in my hand without shuffling them. Okay, so let's go here. Let me see if there's anything else I should say about sort of truthfulness and lying and, what this means, like nose twitching and mouth covering, fidgeting, tense lips are signs a person might be lying. And other signs include like micro expressions, sort of quick flashes of emotion the liar is attempting to cover up. So let's ask right away here, is someone lying to you? And there is, let's see, this will be 6 questions here. So there's the King of Pentacles as is someone, lying to you. So what's interesting is that I'm getting the message that this is a representation of a person. So this could potentially be a male figure or just a person that embodies a lot of very male traits, very authoritarian, authoritative, I should say, someone that's very financially stable, very grounded, so like, I'm not getting like a father figure. I'm getting more of just a male person that's very, that's older, more mature. So, they doesn't be like a lot older than you, but they're definitely older. They just have a sense of maturity that comes from financial security. So they're financially solvent in a way that makes them feel like they have something over you, maybe. So maybe in a relationship they might make more money than you, might be a boss type of figure, but I'm not getting that kind of a relationship. I'm getting more like somebody that's in like your periphery, but that seems to feel like they have some sort of authority over you, or that they just feel not so much better than you, but they just feel that they're more maybe successful or more already accomplished in certain areas in comparison, like they're comparing themselves to you. And so where they feel that they stand out is that maybe they make more money or have more money than you. And so that might be symbolic to someone who is lying to you. Now, then the next one is, am I lying to myself? And this 6 of Cups came out. So I'm thinking, I guess it could be a parent figure in this King of Pentacles. But, are you lying to yourself? The 6 of Cups, it's not saying that you're lying to yourself, but you are romanticizing something to yourself. So there's something to do with your childhood that for whatever reason you're either using as a crutch for why you're maybe stuck in a pattern, why you've procrastinated, why you're lacking motivation, or there's something that you're not fully getting done, and your sort of go-to is looking at your childhood or your past when you were younger and sort of pointing to and here's the reasons why, like this is why I'm stuck, or this is why I haven't moved on, or why I haven't been able to. And it's not even like inner child workings. It's like something that that you point to and say, like, this is why I can't get this thing done, or why I'm stuck, or why I've never been able to do X, Y, Z. And there's like some sort of blame. And part of that, like I said, is that you're really romanticizing that part, almost over dramatizing, right? That part of your life in a way that, and it's not to be dismissive. Like there really could have been real challenges for you growing up but there's something here that, yeah, it's kind of like you're lying to yourself about maybe not even the ethos of where it stems from, but how you've maintained this crutch and brought it into the present. And so things then get blamed on that. And so you need to start being more honest with yourself that, you know, you can have that memory and it can be horrible, whatever, but you can also overcome it. And because you've gotten this far anyway, right? So what is your biggest realization? We have the Ace of Cups. It's interesting too, because it's coming right underneath the green chakra here, which is the middle. It's our heart space. So I would say your sort of biggest rationalization, right, for something that you failed to do, it's as if you're having this awakening right now. Like you're having like that aha moment of realizing that whatever this thing is that that's holding you back. And, you know, this could be that parental figure, the father figure, you know, whether it is a father, grandfather, uncle, or brother, you know, a teacher, somebody, like I said, that has that kind of hold over you in this thing that, you know, you feel like they were lying to you, but you're also lying to yourself and giving so much power to this, is how I'm hearing the story being told here. So like, is someone lying to you? The person in this that represents this card for you, it's kind of in the same position as you are, in where like their shortcomings, you know, their lack of having that position in your life has made them exaggerate their position in your life. You know, like where if they weren't around for whatever reason, it's like, but I'm still this person. Like I am your, you know, father, I'm your brother, I'm your, you know, or if it's like I said, like if it's a mentor or you know, somebody even, like I said, it's just the energy just really feels like this male person that views you as really amazing and grand. And so that makes them feel less than you. And so there's this comparison because there's something in their mind that says that they need to have provided for you, or they should have been there to do something for you that they don't feel that they did. And so what then happens is that they probably, like this lying to you is just in the posturing of how they try to enact their position or their relationship to you. So then it becomes like, oh no, of course I am this. I am that energy. I am the person that, you know, like I of course I supported you, or of course I support you now, or, you know, anything you ever, you know, you want, of course I'm going to provide, or, you know, something like that. It's like what I'm hearing. It's like this really kind of trippy energy because like they know it's not true and like you do too, but then you kind of see them, like I said, like sort of lying to yourself too, in this way of giving them that almost that like you kind of succumb to them, like, yes, you're right, you are in that position. But because of that tension and that it's not an open relationship where all the words haven't been expressed, then what happens is that you've manifested then this relationship into other areas of your life where, you know, you can sort of point the blame back at this moment in time as a child or when you were growing up. And so that's really where you have in the past really rationalized when things don't get done the way that you expected and you see things as failures, you know, and you go back and that's when you have been going back and looking at that childhood experience and having someone to actually point to blame. So the Ace of Cups really represents this aha moment of you really like realizing and rationalizing that these things haven't been failures. They've been just life lessons. And so you're having this aha moment that's like, maybe it is time to let go of the hold that this person that is, you know, potentially lying to you, like you're doing it to each other. Like you let them because you give them that place. And even if it's not for real, maybe you don't even talk to this person, but however it is in your mind, you've given them this position of King of Pentacles in your life, and you're like the kid in the Six of Cups card. And so you take the cup that they offer and you really like hold on to that, and it's great. And then when things aren't going right, it's like their fault, and then they do the same thing as feeling that they're better than you, but they know they're not, it's just that dynamic. And so the Ace of Cups really represents that. It's like what you've rationalized in the past, now you're having this aha moment of, wait a minute, I didn't fail to be any of these things, like I can start any day is a new opportunity for me to start, and I can like clear that slate and not have this be a hold on me. Why is truth important? The Nine of Swords. I mean, that's pretty, I think, somewhat self-explanatory, right? Like truth is important, because otherwise you are stuck, in your head. There's nightmares, there's sleepless nights, there's anxiety. When you start to uncover certain truths, especially I find when they're your own personal truths. Like we may never know if someone is lying to us or why, they may not believe that they're lying to us. But when you're lying to yourself about something, and then not just lying to yourself about the thing, but then putting blame on someone else. I am having this, so I'm very anecdotal. So one of the anecdote that's coming to mind is that, I know I can only hear it in Spanish in my head. But so the sort of like, imagine when you're continually telling yourself one story, but like so much so that you start believing it too, and then now you're in this moment where you're like anxious over anytime something didn't go wrong, and you can blame it on someone else. Like at some point you're your own person and you're grown, and so you need to own that space, right? Own the throne for yourself, and like the realization that you can change things, and that you're responsible for your outcomes, like regardless of what happens in this, we have like these, what's our marker here in the United States? It's like 18, and then you're an adult. And then if you're fortunate enough, most of us will live longer as adults than we did as children. And yet those 18 years can be so definitive that people can go the rest, like the next 60 years or 70 years, and just really stuck in this past. And so why is truth important? This Nine of Swords is really telling me here that it's way above and beyond someone else lying to you potentially. It's really you lying to yourself about the root as to why things are the way they are. So when you can cut this cord of putting blame on things from, things that are happening today, and putting blame on all things on your, on your past experiences, especially as a child, when you can take this moment, this Ace of Cups, as this, aha moment of realizing and a new way of rationalizing, knowing that each day is a new opportunity to do the whole thing over again, then you'll start sleeping better, right? Because right now, when it's like you're on that journey, and you're getting really close to uncovering that for yourself, and really melding that, aligning it to who you are, because you're realizing that it's not worth it, because you're anxious, you're stressed, you're not sleeping, your dreams are not, you're just so in your thoughts, and they're manifesting in like almost like nightmares and sleepless nights. And that's why the truth is becoming, not just that it's important, it's becoming apparent, and you're seeing it. And so you're realizing where you have to take that responsibility to cut the cord, take the cup to a new way of viewing your life and how you move forward, right? How do you get to the truth of this situation, for example? Because so far it really is tied to your childhood, and like this Like I said, with male figure. Okay, so 3 cards just popped out. I'm going to take all 3 and then I'll conclude the reading there unless I need a clarifier. So the last 2 questions are, how do you get to the truth of your situation, and what action do you need to take? And the 3 cards that came out are the Queen of Cups, the Star, and the Knight of Pentacles. So how do you get to the truth of a situation? And then what action should you take? So again, and it's just the way that these things are, I didn't even do it intentionally. This isn't even how the spread should be laid out. But so we have your heart here, your center. We have the Ace of Cups and the Queen of Cups. So one way to really get to the truth of the situation is to balance, align yourself, and really approach things from your heart space, from your center, not from your thoughts, and not out of like a stubbornness or a passion or impulsivity, and not just so stuck in your stinking thinking head that you do that, but from the middle, right? So how do you balance these 2 energies to really come from the heart, come from a place of listening, of empathy? And if you can approach, you know, a situation that way, you're listening, like your ability to then hear truth even, you know, will become clearer. And it's interesting because this is the throat chakra, and we have like this 9 of Swords and the Star. Now the Star really talks about those hidden, not even hidden, I should say that. It's our dreams, it's our hopes, our desires, right? Like those things that, like those stars in the sky, right? It's like that twinkle that we fantasize about something, what we want. And I guess it's a little hidden because it is truth to us, and not, you know, we don't have to share that with anybody. So that's within you. So one way to get to the truth of the situation is when you can align and come from that place of really listening. And this is, really the strongest message I'm getting here is this truth to yourself. Not so much like that there's a particular situation that someone's lying to you. This is really a personal message about you. And I think this King of Pentacles has some energy that really has shaped how you talk to yourself, how you believe yourself, how you see yourself. And so that truth will get enlightened. I will get clear when you can approach it with, you know, the compassion and the kindness to yourself. And so that way you can have empathy on you. So you're coming from your heart and you're really listening to what's inside your heart. What's the star represent for you in your heart? Because something you have held back on following and really pursuing, a childhood dream or desire, you know, a goal, something that you've been wanting, because there's this male, really heavy male energy that imposed themselves over you and in some way made you really feel like you weren't capable of it, deserving of it, able to achieve it, almost without them. And so how you start to shift that is you can accept the cup when you're aligned to receiving the cup, is when you can accept it fully, when you surrender to the divine, to really open yourself up from your heart, to hear with love, you know, really listen with love, and, you know, open to receive that. You'll be able to then tap into and remember, what were those dreams? What are those dreams that lie inside of you, that lie deep inside your heart? And how can you, you know, how can you revisit those so that your nights are full of dreams again, and stars, and the possibility of that thing that you've wanted, and not this anxiousness because you've believed this hype that isn't true. And the way that, you know, the action you need to take there is going to be a very slow and steady pace to get there. Slow, not so much in time, but in action. So finding your authentic self is going to take mindfulness and, you know, kindness towards yourself. So it's really about rooting, you know, starting from the ground up here, root, you know, really ground your root chakra, start to align that, you know, really think about different ways to set up your physical space. You know, maybe instilling a physical practice. Maybe it's taking a 10-minute walk in the morning or in the evening before you wrap your day, or in the middle, like doing small steps that are concrete and that can be almost measured, so I'm going to walk 5 days a week for 15 minutes, or, I'm going to like drink more water, like little things from drinking water to eating better, to journaling, to meditating, to maybe it's just sitting and like watching something mindless on TV. This is super funny for you, or just any little bit where you're taking full, like, you're taking whatever time you allot, you're being fully present, because the more you spend that time with yourself to really get to the root of who you are, the more that alignment is going to help you really reveal this energy here, so you can acknowledge who is this energy represented. How do you clear that out? How do you reconcile, so that when you look back on your childhood and those experiences, they're with a loving eye, a loving gaze, right? The lens of not blaming someone else for something you don't have, but, or something you haven't been achieved yet, but instead looking at everything through love of all the lessons that have brought you here, and that was just your journey to get to this place. But you're not missing out on anything. Like, this is the chosen path for you. And so with that awareness and that clarity that will come when you align the center through your heart, the first thing that'll happen is you're going to get rid of these sleepless nights, and you're going to replace that with dreams, stars, right? Like, that's the kind of stuff you want to dream about. And the action is just going to be to stick to that, to really slow and steady, will win this race, because this is a lifetime, that has been building up from this really, and this is one facet of your life, right? And that has been really influenced by the experiences and it can be there's so many, it could just be male figures in general, like a generalization over an experience you had growing up, whatever the male, like in authority, the male that's supposed to reign over his kingdom, the male that has, like, it could be a relationship, however this resonates for you, it's that male energy that you can identify. If this resonates to you, you'll be able to identify a male like that in your life. And when you do, that will then tag back to the Six of Cups on how you have lied to yourself, sort of through believing this hype that this person sort of set up in your, in your psyche, in your memory, that have really built memories upon that. And so then that has led to these sleepless nights, but we can replace that with nights filled with dreams if we kick off from this, really aligning ourselves to receive this cup of, of all possibilities, of new beginnings, of a new foundation. So you can look back at the memories, you have the opportunity and the ability to choose what memories you want to bring forth, and which memories do you want to use as the anecdotes that you tell when you retell your life. You decide what those are. But in this this truthfulness spread, what you're being asked and sort of being shown is that you've chosen to this date, up to this point, you've chosen to retell your life through this lens, where this one really dominating male energy has really, I don't know if dictated, but really has laid this foundation for some areas in your life that have not been fully what you had wanted, or the way that they've gone hasn't been the way you might have hoped or imagined, or how you've compared yourself to others in achievement, and this person gets the blame. And the question is, are you lying to yourself? And it's like, yes, because at some point you can cut that out. And when you take ownership of it and don't give this person the energy to have that much control and power over you, then you can shift your energies to this. And then you get to decide again, like, how do you tell your story to others? What parts do you want to choose to continue to tell as the ones that shape you? At any moment you can change those, and you can decide when you meet somebody new and new things are happening, you can choose to discuss this energy that you've been in. And that can be important for a lot of the clearing and sort of processes. But at some point, you need to decide when you stop telling the story and when you start telling the new story, because the new story becomes your story. So it's not like you're lying anymore, right? It will be in full truth, but the truth now is not being influenced by others' opinions or definitions of you, but through your own definition of yourself. And why would we want to define ourselves through anxiety and stress and nightmares? We would want to define ourselves through dreams and hopes and love and new opportunities and, being great listeners and being empathetic and all of that. And so that's why it's a slower moving energy, because that comes with practice and a commitment to want to make that change, because this isn't easy to shift or let go of. And so it comes over time and with mindful application of knowing that you want the new story. I feel like it's a little heavy, so I could go on and on and on, but I think I'm gonna stop it right here, because I think that's already a lot to process, but really meaningful message as I felt it. And so I hope it resonates. I mean, if it resonates, I hope it helps. And with that, I will see you tomorrow.